welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world.
Hi, everybody. This is Linda Daniele here, and I want to welcome you to my little booth here with Reader's Magnet and the Storytellers Festival, which I'm so excited to be part of. I had the privilege of being in the first Storytellers Festival last year, and I really, truly enjoyed it. And I wanted to be part of this again. It's a chance to meet you, the readers, the viewers. It's a chance to talk about my books, and it's just a chance to share some good things and some good news. So behind me, I have a little poster about my first book called Grandpa Nick's Bump, and I have a copy here. Okay, and this is about my husband who used to babysit. We used to babysit for the children that live across the street from us. And what they did one day, they were very young, like 5 and under. And they came over one day and they asked my husband to be their grandfather. And they realized, I don't know how, but they realized that they didn't have their own grandfather. So they came and they asked him to be their grandfather. And he was working on the car as usual. And he said, of course, I'd be happy to be your grandfather. So, and he was really thrilled because we babysat for all of them from like when they were born. And they're all just 4 little steps, so, and now they're big. Actually, 3 are in high school and 1 has actually just started college, which I totally can't believe. But so I started writing this in 2015. So he agreed to be their grandfather. And then a few months later, unfortunately, we found out that my husband had meningioma. And, he passed away 10 years ago. And so this is the story of having the children deal with getting a grandfather, and then realizing that they didn't have one, but they certainly have one in heaven. So that's a wonderful thing. And now I have my own grandchild as well too. So now I have 5, which is really, really exciting. So this is Grandpa Nick's Bump. And another thing that just happened, like within the last, month or so, is my second book has now come out, and it's called Grandpa Nick the Conductor. So what I'm trying to do is to make a little series of Grandpa Nick books. All right. And this is about my husband and my son who were trolley operators at a local trolley museum here in my area. So they had a little mystery happen in the trolley barn. And that's kind of an exciting thing. So these are the two books that I have. So I have Grandpa Nick the Conductor and Grandpa Nick's Bump. Okay. And last year I read the story, The Grandpa Nick's Bump, and I thought I would try to do that again tonight. I thought I would give like a little overview of the books, and that would be kind of a fun thing to do. Now, if you have anything that you would like, questions, comments, whatever, please type it in the chat. Okay. And I'll be happy to answer whatever. If you have questions, if I can help with questions, that would be great. And so just type away if you would like to do that. So Grandpa Nick's Bump, and we called he had a big tumor, huge, it was huge, on the top of his head, and we called it a bump. We never called it a tumor. We called it a bump. So anyway, this is Grandpa Nick's Bump. So I thought I would read it to you. So if there's any children that are listening, it would be kind of fun to be able to sit down and listen to the story. Okay. It doesn't take very long. It's not a long story. And most of it's happy, but there's one sad page, just so that you know that there's one sad page. Okay. I dedicated this little book to looking to the light of the Father. With love, this little book is dedicated to the importance of fatherhood. I think dads are very, very special. I think that they're very, very special. And sometimes we forget because they work so hard. I think we forget, and we need to make sure that we say thank you to our dads, okay, as often as we can. Now, if I can get these pictures right, these are the children. And again, they're much older now. This is my husband with the 4 kids that asked him to be their grandfather. And the one in blue, Emma, is now starting college. And the other 3 are in high school. So the story is a long time in the writing. Okay. The little thing that we do too with my books is we look for the Holy Spirit in the book in the form of a little dove. So if you see a bird, a little white bird, you know that that's the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is with you always, even when you can't see him. He's with you always, okay? All right, let me see if I can get this to the right page. Here we go. Oh, my goodness, there's Joseph. Look at that. Joseph was upside down over the trash can with Grandpa Nick holding him by his feet. "Do you want to go in?" Grandpa said. It was a clean trash can. "No," squealed gentle Joseph. Sure enough, in he went, laughing and wiggling all around. He wiggled so much that the trash can fell over, and out he came with a "Do it again, Grandpa," jump for joy. So see if I can get this picture right. There you go. He's in that trash can. These are true stories. He really did put them in the trash can. And swings and trees and all sorts of things. Grandpa Nick was a fix-it Nick. He fixed all the broken knickknacks and gobbledygooks around. Sean's pedal needed fixing on his tricycle, and when it got fixed, it was a Nick's best fix. So there he is, and he's fixing those, his tricycle. There you go. Do you see a bird? Is there a bird there anywhere? I think he's on top of the roof, peeking over the roof. That would be the Holy Spirit. Margaret was a quiet one with watching eyes. She watched as Grandpa Nick drew his hearts, trains, and bridges with her. After that was done, he put her in a tree and followed that with, "Come and get me," and a hee hee hee. watching Margaret climb down and ran around that tree, and Grandpa Nick caught her and tickled her with glee. I see a dove there. The oldest one was Emma, who was ladylike and prim. During breakfast, she would complain that milk was filled up to the brim. So Grandpa Nick would get a cloth and mop up table spills, with Sean on the other side using markers on the sills. Yep, there's Sean making a mess. And there is a little dove in the window. Emma, the listener, loved stories and poked her head up to hear them. She fell off the couch laughing, and then she would repeat them. There she is. She's fallen off the couch. Little princess. I wonder what's happening here. What a loony time Grandpa Nick would sure provide, until one day they noticed there was a head bump on the side. Aside his head, a little bump that wasn't there before, over time began to grow too big. And what was it growing for? Then they make some cards for him. The gift of the children was to grow Grandpa Nick's grin so he could smile at the side bump. So silly games and laughter were their presents of the day, and Grandpa Nick would smile and take them out to play. There's the little dove. No complaining did he do about that side bump there, but the children noticed Grandpa Nick saying a little prayer. Keep my children happy, Lord, wherever they may go, and I will wink from time to time and play out in the snow. He took the bus to Boston to get the bump removed. He was gone a long time, and people said, he's doing well. And they were happy because they thought he was becoming well. So there's the bus there, if I can get this right. On the way to Boston. This is the sad page I told you about. Grandpa Nick died, and all the children are sad. One day, as the children got off the school bus, their mom and dad were there to greet them with sad faces through and through. They told Joseph, Sean, Margaret, and Emma that Grandpa Nick had died. They told him he was happy with Jesus at his side. They all cried when they had heard it, and that's okay to cry. We'll miss him very much, their parents did reply. Oh, what's that? In heaven, there's a mansion for everyone, Jesus said, and Grandpa Nick's was a big rainbow castle, Sonny Sean had said. They all sat down to draw every rainbow they could draw with a Grandpa Nick and me card that was precious and inspired. And there's Jesus, and there's Nick, Grandpa Nick, and there's God the Father with the dove in his hand, the Holy Spirit, and they're smiling. Even though that day was hard and everyone was sad, we know that Grandpa Nick is with Jesus and his dad. No tears or sadness are allowed in heaven, don't you see? As Grandpa Nick tastes snowflakes and giggles and hee-hees. And there's Joseph in the trash can. Getting out of the trash can. Okay. And then this next little part is just a picture of me and my dog Molly. Okay. And you may hear her bark in the background. I never know what she's going to do. Okay, but that's the story of Grandpa Nick's bump. And it is a true story. And the thing that's really important is to remember that sometimes, even though we have a sad day, the Holy Spirit's always with us, no matter what, always with us. But we can have a really good day. We can have a good day. And even though we have something sad happen, we can have a good day. And sometimes children need to learn that. Sometimes grown-ups need to learn that as well. And that's one of the reasons I wrote the book, is that not many people consider children when there's really a death in the family. They feel sad. They kind of keep the kids out of what's going on sometimes. And that's not always a good thing. Sometimes you really need to explain what's happening. And hopefully this little book is something that, if people have trouble explaining what's going on, this can kind of be a help and maybe a discussion starter with children. When I gave this to my local library, they put it in the bibliotherapy section instead of like the children's section. They put it in an area where parents could take it out of the library to read it to their children, and which is fine, absolutely fine. But it's something that I feel very strongly about, that children are not just short adults. They are children. And things can be presented to children in a simple way, but they still need to be part of the experience and part of what's going on, because death and dying are part of the real world. It's part of the world that we live in. And it's better to explain to a child than to just keep them out of it, and then they feel like they're not important. So it's just something I feel really strongly about. And when I wrote this, it helped me to deal with my husband's death. It says here, what happened to the children after Grandpa Nick passed away? They hang out still to this day at my house, which I totally love. And they remember him very, very well. So they talk about him, and they're still across the street. Of course, the oldest one is venturing out into college, so that's a whole different ballgame. But they are doing well. And one of the things that I'd like to do during this presentation, I don't quite have a schedule for it yet, during this whole festival, is to have the children come one at a time. And maybe toward the end of the festival, have the four of them here. If I can organize their schedules, I'd like to be able to do that. Thank you for asking that question. Thank you. It's good to see you again too. I can see in the chat. Feel free to put anything in the chat if you would like to. If you have comments or even suggestions, whatever, that would be really good. So the second book, The Conductor, is loosely based on truth, but most of it is made up. My husband was a conductor. My son was a conductor, but it's basically a made-up story. Okay, so I did follow through with the dove. So you have to find the Holy Spirit in the Conductor book as well. And this little one, I can't read everything because there's a surprise in it. And if I read the whole thing to you, it won't be a surprise anymore. So I will read some of it to you, okay? The dedication is, I dedicate this little book to the strength of gentleness and the goodness of compassion. The strength of gentleness and the goodness of compassion. I think if I think about that, sometimes we don't think gentleness is a strength, but it's a powerhouse strength. Being gentle. People are watching. They want to see love in action. And sometimes gentleness is the way to go. We don't always have to be powerful, superhero kind of people. We can be gentle and quiet and loving and kind. And in that is a lot of strength. And also the goodness of compassion. Being compassionate towards each other is something that is very, very important. And then I do put the dove in again in this book. And I want to thank the artists at Reader's Magnet. I can't draw at all. And I did my little stick figures. I sent them my stick figure drawings, and they did exactly what I asked them to do. They were really wonderful, really, truly wonderful. So there's a little dove in here too. I'm just going to read a little bit. I can't read the whole thing, but I'll read a little bit for you. This is a picture of my husband and I. This was our 25th anniversary. Oops, I'm going the wrong way. Okay. And we had gone to a concert. So this is a while ago now. Did I get the right page going here? So we have a trolley barn that's really, really dirty. Nope, I'm going the wrong way. And what I like that the artists did at Reader's Magnet is that they made the words in like the little screen that you see for silent movies. I didn't come up with that. They did that, which I was really amazed at. Okay. And we have the little dove, flying. Whoops, I'm going the wrong way here. Flying in the corner. So the dove is there, and that's the trolley barn. Okay. It was a very cold day when Grandpa Nick arrived with his 14-year-old son, Anthony. Anthony asked, "Dad, how do we get her out of the barn? The doors are frozen." "Let's see. We can pull them a little bit." Grandpa Nick, pulling as hard as they could, the doors popped open to a black, greasy, oily, smelly, and totally grungy trolley barn. My husband was an engineer, and he just loved he loved anything that went, anything that moved mechanically. And here's a little trolley. Okay, and there's the dove in the window. Grandpa Nick, using his trusty flashlight, made his way to the back of the barn. In the corner, his flashlight caught sight of a green and gold shiny surface. There were gold letters there with black trim saying, "Pearl Mountain Number 3. "There's the Pearl," Grandpa Nick exclaimed. Anthony found the light switch and turned on the barn lights. He heard scurrying in the corner that startled him a little. Mice, he thought, and went to help Grandpa Nick. Grandpa Nick found the large bronze trolley key and hung it in the corner over the brake wheel. "Let's not lose that key," Grandpa Nick mumbled to himself. Again, Anthony heard a scurry in the corner. "That sounds like an awful big mouse to me." "Dad, what do you think that sound was?" "I don't know. Maybe a rat or something," said Grandpa Nick. "Can you hand me that wrench over there?" "Sure, Dad," answered Anthony. There was a whining cry, and Grandpa Nick put down his wrench and said, "Okay, that's it. Where and what are you?" They both whipped out their flashlights, and the search began. And that's all I can tell you. Sorry, but that's all I can do. But what I can do is at the very end of the book, I have something a little bit different, I think, in that because my husband and my son were actually trolley operators, we learned about the trolley whistles when you hear a trolley, okay? And it's called the trolley whistle song. And in trolley whistle language, one whistle means to stop, two whistles mean to go, many short whistles mean danger. And then I just say here, get your trolley whistle, recorder, trumpet, tambourine, and instruments ready. 4 for 4 beats. Play your instruments on the whistle, refrain, and rap. Okay? And so this is the song here. I don't have any instruments with me right now, but I can I'm not a very good rapper. I think kids are better at it than I am. But I can give you a little idea of the trolley whistle song. I am the conductor and we're going on a trip. I am the conductor and we're going on a trip. Do, do. Let's keep going on this beautiful day. The sun is shining and we're on our way. Do, do. It's time to stop and let folks off. Do. Let's get going again. Let's get going. Do. Do. Oh no, there's a bear on the tracks. Danger. Do, 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 do. He's okay. He's moving off the tracks. Do, do. We're going back to the station. Do, do. It's time to stop the trolley at our destination. Do. Hope you had a time that's jolly, riding with me on the heavenly trolley. Do, do, ta-da. Okay. And it's all about, there's rainbows. And if you notice on the end of Grandpa Nick's bump, I had a rainbow, and I have a rainbow here. And there's a reason for that, but I can't tell you what it is. Okay. So The Conductor is a story that I liked because it is about mechanical machines that go. Something happens in the story, and it's also about compassion. So there's a part where Nick and Anthony have to be compassionate towards different people. Okay, and this is part of that story as well. This is available through Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and also Reader's Magnet. And Reader's Magnet has really, truly been wonderful. I can't say enough good things about all the people that I've been working with. Also, Grandpa Nick's Bump was from Christian Faith Publishing. So that's also on Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and Christian Faith Publishing as well. Okay, and on my website, which is LyndaDanieleBooks.com. This is my high-tech website that I can tell you the way I'm advertising it here. But if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to ask in the chat, let me see what I have. It's good to see you too, 668. What is the reason of your second book? The second book, basically, Nick really, he loved anything that that would move, and he loved putting things together. And with that, he used to help people kind of put their problems, together, and so people would be able to put them behind them, not only with mechanical things, but he also would be able to help a lot of people. Over the years, he was able to fix different people's cars, and he wouldn't charge for it. He did a lot of wonderful things. And he really enjoyed the trolley museum that we have in our area. Also, if you notice, the faces are the same, and the printing and everything. And what I'm trying to do is to have a little series. The third one that I'm thinking about doing now, and I'm just starting it, really is The Adventures of Grandpa Nick and the Model A, because we have a family car, actually, that's a 1931 Model A Ford. So it's 90 years old. Still runs. It's registered as a regular car, not as an antique. And so that's going to be, as my son says, you could make 10 stories out of just all the adventures that we've had with that car. So that's hopefully will come up. That's going to take me a little while to do, but that hopefully will be the third one that should be coming. Okay, let me see. What can people take away from reading your book, especially parents who read to their children? Well, I think with the Grandpa Nick's Bump, as I was saying before, when there is a death or sickness or somebody's really having a hard time, it's just so important for people to realize that good things can happen. Good things can happen. And when people are having a hard time, it's really important. I think reading to children is crucial. We always read in our family. Sometimes we have to put down the little, gadgets that we have and turn off the television and just be able to be with each other, like having a rule in your house where there's no gadgets during dinner, something simple like that, so that you can actually talk to each other, because we're kind of losing, I think, the ability to communicate to each other on a close basis. We can email people and everything, but we're not really with them, and we need to foster friendships and families that truly love each other. That's something, and that's where Grandpa Nick's bump also is a good example of a good dad. Not perfect, but he was very good, and you could rely on him, and even when he was really, really sick, he did not complain, and he babysat for the kids through the whole thing with meningioma. He kept babysitting the whole time. So what do we have here? The second book has become more colorful and more illustrative. Yes, this one with the Grandpa Nick's Bump was Christian Faith Publishing, and they also did exactly what I wanted them to do for the artwork. And what's really interesting is I had the children each make a book. I wrote the story, and I typed out the story, and I had the children make pictures. All four of them made their own little book with their own pictures. And part of what we'll try to do during the festival is show some of those. And you'll be able to see how, the kids drew Joseph in the trash can with Grandpa Nick. So the artists at Christian Faith Publishing took the children's drawings and they drew from them. This is not that's not the children's drawings. But they used the ideas and they did it. And they really, this is a simple book, but I think it's kind of profound. It's very short and sweet, but there's a lot of meat in here. A lot of things to kind of digest a little bit and think about. And the artists, you're right, this is more colorful. And the artists for Reader's Magnet did a tremendous job. Here also in the conductor are pictures of Grandpa Nick and my son Anthony, who is in the story. And unfortunately, with this one, there was a watermark on I don't know what happened to it, but there was a watermark on the photograph. But it's okay. You still get a picture. And there's the three of us. So that was just kind of a fun thing that we did together. Does anybody else have any ideas or any comments or anything that you would like to say? Type in any questions. What I'm going to try to do, are you planning to release a third book? I just love how the story is told. Yes, I am planning on doing a third book. I'm working on it now with Reader's Magnet again. And it is going to be The Adventures of Grandpa Nick and the Model A. So we are working on that. And hopefully it will be good. Hopefully people will enjoy it. I enjoy writing it. It helps me to remember different things that we have done in our family. And that's an important thing for me and my family, so that they have a record of what their grandfather did as well. I bought this book during the first season of the festival. Thank you so much. Thank you. I think bought the book at the first season. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. My son loves The Bus and the Dove. Yes. Yes. The dove is something that, you don't always see the Holy Spirit, but the Holy Spirit is always, always with us. Do we have any other comments, questions? Feel free to type away. And again, my website is my high-tech version of writing it down, LyndaDanieleBooks.com. Okay, and Grandpa Nick's Bump is from Christian Faith Publishing, and then Reader's Magnet has done the Grandpa Nick the Conductor book. Okay. Any hints or ideas on what the third book is all about? It's going to start from when my husband, who was only the second owner of the car, he bought it when he was 15 years old, and he put it together. When he bought it, it was only a chassis, tires, a stick shift, and the seat, and an engine. That was pretty much it. And he put the whole thing together. He built it from practically nothing over the years, and he had some friends helping him, and but it's still running. Like I say, we use it as a regular car. It's not listed. It's not registered as an antique. It's registered as a real street car. So there's a lot of things, a lot of trips, things like it was our wedding car. And then years later, my son and his wife, it was their wedding car. And who knows where it's going to be in the future. So a lot of history in this car, different trips. And so some of the adventures of Grandpa Nick and the Grandpa Nick and the Model A would be the different trips and things that happened with Nellie. We call her Nellie, the Model A car. So, a little reminder. Okay, I'm going to have to be ending pretty soon. I'm hoping that tomorrow night I will be on again from 6 to 6:30. And I welcome if you think of anything that you would like to ask me. I'm pretty much going to do a few things like this, maybe a couple of little extra things. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Please take care and have a wonderful evening. Good night.